Hey guys, this is Cam again. Um, Went out this morning, just got finished shooting the video on how to keep your minnows longer with those ice bottles. But what I'm going to do also, guys, I'm going to show you. I went out early this morning, and also I had a couple of people that asked me, Cam, do you ever catch anything when you're out there besides crappie? And I'm going to show a couple of segments of what we did this morning, and following behind that, what some of the other fish that I catch as well. So I'm getting ready to show you guys that. We're just coming in off of shooting that little segment. So just real quick, I'm going to put that online so you guys can see that, okay? Keep the questions coming. Remember, if you like it, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and also take somebody fishing outdoors and let them have a good time. Guys, how y'all doing today? Listen, I'm coming to you differently, in a different perspective. Behind me, just got finished doing some scouting on the water. Um, Before I even get started on all that, I want to tell everybody out there, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone that you're in. Welcome back again to the Crappie Hole. What I'm going to cover today is a small tutorial, um, and you'll find out also in my later interviews, guys, that um, I want to teach. I want to instruct people to answer those little small questions about how to catch crappie. That is my main focus. You know, when we started this segment, you guys have to remember, I'm just a guy next door. I don't pay a lot of money for things. I don't have a 30, 40, $60,000 bass boat. Whenever I go shopping for fishing equipment, it's relatively um, a cost-effective way that everybody can afford. And one thing that everybody out there knows is that I hunt for crappie. That's what I do. So, with that being said, guys, sit back, relax on the crappie hole sofa, uh, put your ears on. I'm going to give you some information about catching crappie, the little things that you do. That is very, very, very important. One thing I also want to cover before I get into the layout of that, guys, there are three things that I'm going to cover today. Um, I'm not going to give an illustration on two of them, but I'm going to verbally just kind of go over them, and in the future, I'm going to have the illustrations and also do different segments on it. Number one, I'm going to cover how I made my brush pile, where you guys see me fishing at. I'm going to cover that without illustrations. And number two, I'm going to cover how to hook your minnows, just a verbal demonstration. Later on, I'm going to do a segment with live minnows so I can show you guys how to put them on. And third but not least, I'm going to cover today the illustration of how to keep your minnows alive longer and keep them jumping, because that is the key, okay? And I'm going to cover it in detail because when we're catching crappie, unlike catfish, unlike bass, unlike brim, with crappie, it's all about the little things that you do. You got to be very, very specific because that presentation has got to be spot on in order to catch big crappie. Okay, I just put out a video a couple of days ago. You guys saw me catching some more crappie, and you saw that the bite ratio is definitely going up. One thing I want to show you guys, and everybody can rectify with this. When you go pick up your minnows, this is the bucket that you use to pick your minnows up in. Okay, everybody knows that. Everybody can use these at one time or another. Okay, the styrofoam bucket, and everybody picks up different count of minnows moving forward. Some people pick up, 5 dozen. I've even been in the store where some guys come in there and pick up 50 dozen. I've even seen them weigh their minnows out by the pound. So for me, whenever I'm catching crappie, I generally get about 5, 6 dozen minnows. Okay, and it's just me fishing. You guys see me on the boat fishing, generally by myself. One thing that I have a problem with, if you use this styrofoam bucket like this, some days I can't use 5, 6 dozen minnows all at one time. But guys, I have come up with a way, and in actuality, all of you guys, if you spend as much time crappie fishing, you guys would have thought of it yourself, okay? I'm not a rocket scientist. Remember, I'm the guy next door, okay? So, especially in the summertime, when you put your minnows in this bucket, they start to die real fast, okay? That's because it's not oxygenated. You've got to have oxygen in your water to keep them live. If your minnows are not live, you're not going to catch fish, okay? So I found out a way just to keep them alive, and generally I can keep my minnows alive for about 5 or 6 days, Okay, and by then I will cut through 5 or 6 dozen minnows, or if I need them a little bit longer, I'll be able to hold them that way as well. Now, this is what I do. After I pick them up from the store in this styrofoam bucket, I immediately, when I get back and I'm getting ready to go fishing, I take a regular 5 gallon bucket. Okay, I put about 3 or 4 gallons of water in it because the more water you have, the more oxygen you have. So if you got 5 dozen minnows, you're going to have some water in there. You're probably going to have to fill it about halfway, 3/4 of the way. Okay, that will ensure that your minnows will last longer. Okay, so what I do, I don't use water out of the faucet. Okay, I generally use the water out of the lake because that water is super hot. What I do is I dip my bucket in there. Okay, and I fill it up to the desired level of where I want it. And once I do that, I get my aerator. Okay, I get my aerator, which produces little small bubbles. You guys can see it from this right here. We drop this into the water, and we turn it on. And some of you guys have probably noticed the noise that you hear in the back. That's my aerator going, which sounds like this. Okay, and it produces bubbles here out of this stone. All right, it's sort of like what you would use on a fish tank. Okay, you can see the bubbles going in a fish tank. This relatively does the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. Very simple. You can buy this at any of your outdoor stores, Walmart, Dick's, Cabela's. These aerators, they're about $7. Very inexpensive. Remember, guys, cost effective. Okay. And what you do is when you have your water and your minnows in, you clip this on the back. Okay. Matter of fact, let me clear this line. Somebody's trying to reach me. And you clip this on the back of your bucket, turn it on, and you drop this in. Remember, it's very simple to do. Okay. Very simple. Now, when I get the water out of the lake, it's hot. Okay. The second most important thing, and some people would say the first most important thing, you've got to keep that water cool. And you guys have seen me catching summertime crappie. Okay. And one thing that is important is to keep that water cool. This is what I used to do. I used to use the ice out of the freezer in the Ziploc bags, but I found myself cutting through so much ice. All right, it became to the point where I was getting all the ice out of there. When I needed ice to drink something, I didn't have any ice. So what I did was I started thinking, how can I cool that water down and keep it cool? And while I was thinking, I was drinking a soda. And what I decided to do is, after I get finished with my bottles, water bottles, soda bottles, Gatorade bottles, 2-liter bottles, I fill them with water. I put them in the freezer. Okay? I have about 10 of these in the freezer, and I keep them in rotation. Right now it's solid ice. So what I do is, before I get ready to go out, I drop a couple of these into the 5-gallon bucket, and it keeps my minnows cold all day. Now, this is the second part of it. If I know that I'm going to keep my minnows alive and I want to use them the next day, this is what I do. Because I'm not going to be dipping in the minnow bucket at night, and I want them to stay cold, I use the bigger 2-liter. Okay, put water in it, freeze it, and when I get back, I don't have to use the little small bottles to keep transferring them in and out. I use this one big 2-liter, and I just drop it right in the bucket. So this will keep overnight your minnows cold. Okay, just a simple 2-liter bottle. I know. Look, you know how much these things cost? 99 cents when you buy soda. Okay, you don't have to go out and spend $25, $30 for anything. You get this, fill it with water, put it in the freezer, and I have 2 or 3, so I keep them in rotation. Okay. That's how I do it. So when one of them melts, I still have another one. Drop the other one in there, take the other one, put it in the freezer. Okay, so you always have one on hand. That always works really good for you. Okay, when I'm getting ready to go out fishing and I want to keep them cold, But I don't want to use the 2 liter because it's so bulky and I won't be able to scoop any of the minnows out. I go with the smaller ones, like this one. I get a couple of these and I drop them in there. What this does, guys, the water temperature is vital because you keep them cold, and when you keep your water cold, it oxygenates the minnows. It keeps them live and hoppy, keeps them jumping. So when you put them on your hook, they stay alive longer. They stay alive longer in the bucket, and that ensures a good bite for your crappie. Because you want your minnow just as sporadic as he can be. You want that wild movement. And also, guys, with that wild movement, it entices any fish. It just entices an instinct strike when they see that minnow swimming like that. If you put a minnow on there that's just dead, they're not interested. Okay? It's sort of like you when you're eating food. You want something that's eye appealing. You want to look at the plate and say, man, that looks good. Okay? That's what you're looking for. The fish are the same way. So think of it like this. If the food on your plate, I don't think that looks too good, you're not going to eat it. But that food looks good, has everything in place, looks good, you're going to eat it. Same thing with the fish. If that minnow swimming through there very, very sporadic, it's going to trigger an instinct strike immediately. If the minnow is just floating through the water dead, they're not interested. This is just very, very simple stuff, guys, to incorporate in what you do every day. I'm trying to change how somebody fishes, but I want to make sure that you do the little things that will ensure getting those big, big, big crappie into the boat. Now, another thing I want to cover, you remember I was discussing scooping the minnows out. I use the smaller bottles versus using the big ones when I'm out in the boat. When I'm storing the minnows in a dark place, I use the big 2 liter. But when I'm getting ready to head out on the boat, I use one of the sports drink bottles, or I use the soda bottles, the little small, the little 20 ounces. Okay, so it allows me to maneuver my net around and get to them without a problem. This is the net, one of the nets that I use here to scoop my minnows out. For a while, I would use my hand, but since now I'm buying 5 or 6 dozen minnows now, I use a net. It's very, very easy. I think this thing is like $2. Okay, you can buy these anywhere. I think at one of the large not department stores, one of your stores, Walmart, it's like $1.99. So you can get these anywhere. This one right here has a little flotation device on in case if you drop it in the water, it'll float. Okay, when you're out there on that boat, the little things that you do can go wrong real easy. Okay, so this is really, really cool. I like that with the little flotation handle. I have a couple of these. I have about 5 of these really that I use. So the net makes it also a little bit more time consuming, less time consuming, because when I use the net, scoop the minnow out, put it on. Remember, guys, you can do all the talking in the world. The main thing, if that minnow and that hook isn't in that strike zone, you're not catching fish. Those hooks and those minnows have got to be in the water. We can sit and talk and chop it up all day long in the boat. Guys, I've gone fishing with guys, they just sit there, they're doing stuff on the boat. Look, cut all that out. Put that minnow in the water, put that hook in the water, see if you can catch fish. That's what you've been prepping for, and that's what you need to do. I want to make sure everybody, all the crappie and the crappettes, know you got to have that minnow in the water in order to catch fish, okay? That's something that I wanted to cover. I had a couple of people ask me about my brush piles that I put out each year, and you guys have seen some of my segments where I cover the brush pile. The one that we're fishing right now is the most active. I have about 4 brush piles out there on that lake. Okay, it's just the one right now we call Crappie Point is the one that is being productive. Those crappie are going to hold all through winter right there on that flat. All through winter they're going to hold. And it's because of the structure that I provided. In the video that I'll be putting out here real soon, you'll be able to see the trees that I dropped down in there. And let me tell you guys, they're just Christmas trees. Okay, and later on when we get to that winter part, when winter comes, I'm going to show you exactly how I sink the trees, and I'm going to have you guys on board with a good seat on the boat to show you exactly how I do it. All I use is cinder block, rope, and those Christmas trees. I have people that come by and bring me Christmas trees every year, and I sink them. And if you notice that we've been catching those crappie on a flat right now. That's where I sunk those Christmas trees. On the edges, it's about 9, 10, 11, 12 feet deep. But that flat is where they come on. They come in the evening and early morning when the water's cool. They feed and then they go back off into those secondary points. And you guys may have noticed that on the videos. And one of the videos I'm getting ready to produce, I even actually pull the depth finder up and I let you see it on the screen so you can see the fish, so you can see the brush pile. And also, if you guys look on some of my videos, I'm constantly getting hung up. Okay, as I stated in my video, if you're not getting hung up, you're not crappie fishing. Okay, that's very, very, very important to remember. So, let me recap. um, this is what you get your minnows in, styrofoam bucket. Okay, when you have 3 or 4 dozen minnows in here, you deplete the oxygen very, very, very quickly. Okay, your main objective: get these minnows, get them back to the house, put you some water in here, in your 5-gallon bucket. Okay, put you some ice bottles in here, 2-liter sports drink, soda bottles. Drop that temperature down. Okay, and also one little small other thing I want you to remember: the water that you have that you got from the Minnow store, 9 times out of 10, it's already going to be cool. Dump that water in here too. So you want to make sure. Let's say if you do, you put water in here and it's half full. When by the time you pour the mineral water that you got from the Minnow store, pour it in here too. You're going to be 3/4 of the way full. Drop those frozen water bottles in there. Let it cool down. Take your aerator. As a matter of fact, I can show you guys the fit right here. Clip that aerator right here on the side. Drop it directly in the bucket. You're in business. Okay? You'll see, I don't think you can really see my minnow bucket on the boat. But after you come back off of the boat, take your minnows in that same bucket, put it in a dark spot, or either cover it up with a towel. Use your finger, touch the water, see if it's cold, if it's warm. Take those water bottles out of there. If you're storing overnight, put a 2-liter in there. You remember you have quite a few in rotation. As a matter of fact, look right here. All these are solid, frozen solid. Okay, so I use them in rotation. I got about 8 or 9 of them in there. So, and every now and again when I'm drinking a soda, man, I pour it out, rinse it out, or a sports drink, fill it up, put it in the freezer. So that adds to your rotation. So you will never have to go upstairs and get ice out of the ice box. So you don't have to worry about that no more, being out of ice, because I was running back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to getting ice out of the freezer. That got old real quick. Plus, guys, with the ice bottles, the frozen ice bottles, it drops that temperature very, very quickly. Okay, it makes things a whole lot easier. On the next segment, I'm going to be covering how you hook your minnows. Okay, I generally hook mine through the last part of the minnow. I don't do mine through the lips. I don't do mine through the eyeballs. I just use towards the tail, that dorsal fin, and I try to stay away from the organs. That keeps them alive longer, and also it makes the swimming motion very sporadic. Everybody has their own way of doing things. Okay, if you choose to hook your minnows like that, that's you. I just can't seem to bring myself to, hooking a minnow between the eyes or right through both eyes. I just can't do that. And like I said, everybody's different. Listen, we're going to be getting back out on the water, getting ready to do some more fishing. Just came from scouting. The sun's getting ready to come up. It's high afternoon. I figured since I just put a video out, I can. And let me say this, guys, in closing. Believe it or not, I enjoy catching fish, but one of the main things I enjoy more than that, guys, is showing people how to catch crappie. That is, I'm more excited about teaching than anything else. And one thing I need for you guys to help me with, and when I get questions, I generally try to bring them forthcoming so everybody can share, because 9 times out of 10, everybody has the same question. The little things what you do in catching crappie is very, very important. So I'm always excited about doing tutorials here at Crappie Corner, at the Crappie Hole. That's very, very important to me. So keep your questions coming. I enjoy all the questions. I enjoy talking to everybody on YouTube. I really do appreciate you guys and my support group behind me, all the guys that I talk to who fish with me. I really do thank you guys. But I want to send a real special shout out to my subscribers. I really do appreciate you guys subscribing and keeping the questions coming. Remember, if you like my videos, click the like button, click subscribe. It's very, very important because I enjoy the feedback. As my coach used to tell me, there ain't no I in team. Okay, I'm a team player. I enjoy answering questions. I enjoy talking to everybody all across the country, all across the world, really. So I wanted to give you guys this. This was heavy on my mind to sit down for a minute in a different setting and give you guys the information that we needed. And again, I'll be covering. I got some different segments starting to get ready to come up, but we're getting ready to brush up against post spawn. As you can see, the bite ratio on all my fish, they're starting to go up. And I appreciate all the views on YouTube. And remember, guys, all of my subscribers, all of my guys who watch my videos, and I got a really, really, really special place in my heart for the crapettes. I've gotten some lady subscribers, and I really do appreciate you guys. I want you to keep the questions coming. And for the ladies, I always get back to you guys, especially quick. I try to do it within minutes, okay? Um, I'm trying to make sure that I covered everything, and I think I did. Going forward, if you guys notice, I generally fish in the morning for crappie, early morning, or either I fish in the evenings. I don't know which one is better. Right now, it seems to be edging out that the morning fishing, I think because the water is at its coolest temperature, um, that seems to be the time right now to catch the crappie. So as the next several weeks start to unfold, guys, I'll be back out on the boat getting ready to catch some more fish. Also, I want to tell you guys this too. I get a couple of people that kind of drag me a little bit for releasing all these fish. You know what, guys, I love showing people, kids in the future, being able to catch fish. So I want to ensure that moving forward, that the kids have fish to catch. I understand everybody's different. Some guys like to catch those fish. They put them right in, you know, in the live well, take them home. And let me tell you, that's the reason why. That's the other half of the reason why I catch crappie, because they're one of the best eating freshwater fish that I like, aside from trout. Um, which reminds me, we also went trout fishing yesterday. The water level from the dam was a little bit high. We went out, but you know, trout fishing, the trout fit, they hunt 100% by sight. So the water level was a touch high. I was supposed to bring you some footage from the trout fishing, but it didn't pan out. But in the future, I will be bringing you some of those videos too. That is the only other type of fishing, aside from saltwater, that can pull me away from crappie. Okay, going trout fishing, love to do that. Last time we went, I caught my limit. Limit was 9. As a matter of fact, I caught a 19-inch brown trout. Beautiful, beautiful, the largest one that I've ever caught since I've been trout fishing. So, but listen, special shout out to the crapettes. Make sure you always have a seat on the sofa. Guys, remember, if you like it, subscribe. You'll see it at the top left-hand corner, or you'll see below the videos, the red buttons. You click subscribe. We also just put the annotation on the top left-hand corner, so all you gotta do is just click the subscription button up there. Looking forward to seeing you guys again here at the Crappie Hole. Remember, everybody out there, you always have a seat at the Crappie Hole. Okay? Come back and oh, catfish. I knew it was something other than pulling this hard. Good night. Boy, this is a big cat. Oh, y'all catfish lovers out there. Good night, this is a big cat. Mm. Boy, this catfish is huge. Let's see if I can get my pliers out of here.